So he uses his wife to seduce his son. While the woman tries to kiss him, the boy makes a disgusted face and the father tells him to kiss properly and asks his wife to be more precise in what she is doing. Then she gestures that it's no use, because the boy doesn't want to and the father doesn't understand why the son isn't interested in women. In this, the girl who works in the house witnesses the scene and is amazed at what she sees there at that moment. As she bends down to pick up the broom that fell from her hand, he asks her why she's making that face, so she leaves at that moment. Then the father tells his wife and son to continue what they were doing, and leaves the room, leaving the two alone. So he goes after the employee and makes her a proposal, and starts by saying that his son doesn't seem to like women and that he wants her to help him make his son like a woman, that is, make him become a man. She says that she is not understanding what he is wanting. Then he keeps saying that he knows that she is in need of money and that he sees her crying around the corners, so he says that she helps him and he helps her with the money she needs. Then she tells him that she doesn't do the kind of work he wants, so he goes on to say that she already asked him for a job opportunity and that now it's time for her to earn money. And let her think that this was the time for her to earn money to help her mother, because she lives sick. Then she says that she will accept it because she really needs it and that her mother is sick and in the hospital and that she cannot pay the expenses and that she accepts to do what he is proposing. Then he says he doesn't have to worry, because he will take care of everything and that she just needs to do her part, which is to seduce her son. At that moment she lowers her head and is thoughtful. He takes her to the living room and says that now the tension he has at the moment will be broken. Her wife looks at him and he says that the boy will put into practice everything he has learned. So he asks her to sit next to his son. But she has a little resistance and so he kind of forces her to sit down and he also sits on the couch, making them very close to each other. Then he starts saying that they are going to play a game called the kiss of the letter. The two are uncomfortable with the situation they are in. His stepmother claps her hands, so he then explains how it works and that he will drop a letter between the two and they have to hold the letter, and the stepmother says it's with her mouth. Then his father puts them in position and prepares to drop the letter that they will have to catch, so he lets go of the letter and their lips touch at that moment. So the father is happy and praises him while the stepmother claps her hands. So the girl asks the boy not to worry and asks permission to go put the clothes in the machine. She gets up and leaves. Then the stepmother praises him, saying that he did very well. The father is also happy and the stepmother says that he need not be afraid. Suddenly he enters the girl's room without knocking on the door and she is changing clothes and he gets embarrassed and covers his face and apologizes. So she says no need to worry and it's okay, so she asks if he can help her with her dress and he says yes. Then he approaches and ties the girl's dress. so she thanks him for helping her with the dress and then asks what he wanted. Then he asks if she could teach him to dance and she says yes, and then she asks him how he knows she dances. Then he says that the other day he saw her dancing, and she then says that he was watching her, who keeps spying on her, and tells him that he was just passing by and saw her dancing. She says no problem and calls him close to her, and he takes her hand and she leads one of his hand on her waist while she holds the other and then starts saying and moving left and right. Soon after he is in the kitchen thoughtful and she enters. Then she asks him if everything is okay and he, rubbing his face, says yes, it is okay, and he wanted a date to go out and he doesn't have it. She offers to go out with him, that is if he wants to, so he asks if she has any dresses and she says she'll fix it. She leaves to get dressed and he sits there at the table with a silly smile on his face. So he gets ready to go out and his father is happy that his son is interacting with her. So she enters the room, and goes to him. He compliments her saying she looks beautiful, hands her a rose and they leave. They happily return to the house, so she compliments him saying he learned to dance just like she taught him. Then he says she is an excellent teacher. Then their eyes meet, and when they are about to kiss he leaves saying he has to go to the bathroom. At that moment her father enters the room and asks how the dance was. She says that it was very good and that they had a lot of fun. He then says that as they had arranged, he takes a check from his wallet and hands it over. She takes it and looks back at him and says she doesn't need it. But he says it was arranged, so he puts the check on his clothes, and at that moment the boy comes out of the bathroom and witnesses everything. And she's already saying that he paid her to go out with him. So her father says it was just a push and that she really needed the money. Indignant, he doesn't believe she agreed to do that. He continues saying that he thought she liked him, then explains himself by saying that it's not at all what he's thinking, that she only accepted because her mother is very sick and she was in need of money, and in desperation she accepted, and that she likes him and that she fell in love with him. Then he says that she was just sorry for him, that she was sorry. So she says no and that she really likes him. Then she walks over and touches her face and he asks her to back off, and she goes on to say that their time together was amazing and that he doesn't need the money but she does. Then he says that if she had asked he would have given it. She goes on to say that when her father offered it to her she was going through a moment of despair. And that in fact she always liked him, but was afraid to say, and he wouldn't like it because she knew he would never look at her. Then he is impressed by the revelation that she has always liked him and how he wouldn't like her since she is beautiful and wonderful, so the two kiss passionately.